Good morning students, welcome to the YouTube channel of Little Flower School Raptinagar. I am Amit Kumar, your computer science teacher, and this is our 15th video lecture for class 12th A and 12th B. So today's video lecture is on programming in Java. Up to the 14 lectures till now, we have completed our section A and we have dealt with Boolean laws, Boolean algebra, computer hardware and various combinational circuits. So now we are going to discuss the programming aspect of our subject. Okay, so I know most of you, in fact all of you, are studying Java and studying the basics of Java since class 9th. Okay, but now today also we are going to talk about some of the few basics. Why I am going to talk about these basics? Because for examinations perspective they are important, and second thing, if you are not clear about these basics, you would not be clear about the concepts that we are going to learn in this year. Okay, so first of all let's talk about Java language and its features. But before that, let me tell you, if you are having any kind of query or any kind of doubt that you want to ask to me, you can click on the link given in the description right now, and to download the notes and the homework exercises given to you, there is a link provided in the description for that also. So without wasting any time further, let's proceed with today's lecture. And one more thing, okay, all the lectures that are related to programming, they are not going to be theoretical only. I'm going to discuss about the aspects, about the logic and all those things, but I will also show you how you are going to implement it on your system. So in today's lecture also we will have a small practical session for you. So let's see what is Java. Actually there were 5 people. We know about James Gosling, that he invented Java. He was the creator of Java, but actually Java was not created by a single person. Well, of course, James Gosling was the head of the department or head of the team which actually made Java, known as Green Team, I think. And this was the team in the Sun Microsystem organization. So Sun Microsystem organization was actually the main organization or the initiator or the one who invested the money on this whole project. And James Gosling was the head of that certain team. But there were 5 developers, including James Gosling, who are actually given the credit for the development of Java. I'm naming them. They are James Gosling, Chris Rath, Ed Frank, Mike Sheridan and Patrick Norton. Even I don't remember the rest of the 4 names. Okay, but let it be. These are the 5 main developers of Java, and they were having a whole team. They launched it in the year 1991. But actually when they launched it with the name Oak. Then later on they renamed in 1995, Sun Microsystem renamed this to Java. Well, there's a different story why the name of Oak or why the name of Java is given to it, and someday we will discuss about that also, not today of course. So in 1995 Java came into existence of the software development market, and it became very popular. It became very popular within few months, you can say, and there were plenty of reasons why it became popular. One of the major reasons was internet programming. The year Java was invented or the year Java was launched, that whole era, that whole decade is famous for internet. That was the booming era of internet, and Java provided the developers a functionality to create applications for the internet, because till then all those things that were created on the internet, all those things that were created for the internet, they were all static. Okay, they were simple pages, and user used to move from one page to another page by clicking on links. That was all that you can do over there. But with the invention or with the development of Java, they were able to create an application for the web page itself. So now the web page became more communicative. Okay, so we will discuss that later on, but that was one of the major reason why Java became popular. Today we are also going to discuss about many features of Java language. So there are plenty of features, but I am going to discuss about 9 main features of Java. The first one is Java is simple. Okay, the first thing is Java is a simple language. Now most of you would be laughing at it. Okay, no, not at all sir, Java is not at all simple. We are learning it from the last 3 years, and you're still not master in it. And some of you would say Java is very simple language. Within 2 years I mastered most of the things of the Java. So actually Java is simple. I too agree with it. So if you are thinking Java is too difficult to remember, the reason is you are trying to remember it. Okay, don't remember. Nobody remembers a language. Nobody remembers Hindi. Nobody remembers English. Okay, you just learn the concept, learn the way to talk, learn the grammar to use, and then you use the language. Similarly, it applies to Java also. So don't try to remember it. Just try to remember the concepts and try to remember the syntax. Rest of the things is totally logical. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. Java is simple. Now I will tell you why Java is simple. The first thing is Java is simple. Now the languages, okay, well, I don't want to use that term right now, but let it be for the explanation point of view. You know Java is object-oriented programming language, right? And there were languages before Java which called them as object-oriented programming. One of the famous one was C++. Though later on it was proved that C++ was not pure object-oriented programming language. Well, we will discuss that in some other video lecture. But it was proved that C++ was not pure object-oriented programming language. Now C++, let it be, let's assume for a while that C++ is an object-oriented programming language. Java is an object-oriented programming language. Now out of these two, if you will ask me which one is simpler, or if you will ask any developer who studied both the languages, they will straightforwardly tell you Java is simple. Now let me tell you why. Now I will name two concepts, and you know these two concepts you are going to understand. Maybe some of you have used it for the programming aspect till now, but you will understand it later on. But I will try to explain you in a simpler manner. In languages like C++, there is a concept known as pointer, okay, and which allows you to directly access any memory location, even those memory locations which you haven't created. Now that's totally unsafe. You are directly dealing with the memory. But there is no such concept of pointer in Java. Though Java deals with reference type, Java deals with references, with addresses, but not directly. Okay, you cannot directly make any changes to that address. So, and the safety, the first thing, it is safe. Second thing, pointer is complicated. So there is no pointer, then definitely Java is simple. Okay, one more thing, there is a concept in inheritance, and while we will study inheritance, there is a type of inheritance known as multiple inheritance. Now because we haven't studied inheritance yet, I am not going to tell you what is the complexity in multiple inheritance, but multiple inheritance is one of the complex kind of inheritance, and C++ supports multiple inheritance. But to keep Java simple, Java is not supporting multiple inheritance. You can't perform multiple inheritance in Java. Even the rules, the advices provided to the programmer, they are quite simple, and to use just one basic standard you need to follow. So there are plenty of things which makes Java a simple language. Now the second feature that we are going to discuss is one of the important feature that is known as platform independence. Platform independence. Now Java is platform independent. Now what does we mean when we say that a language is a platform independent? So to understand that, you should understand what is a platform. Okay, if we talk about CPU, right, if we talk about CPU only, it's not a platform, it's a processor, and it's a machine which actually executes on instruction. So CPU definitely has some language, machine language, in which it performs and executes something. But who gives instructions to CPU? Actually in our system, in our computer, you will see the whole architecture of the computer. Processor is actually being instructed throughout the processing from operating system. So operating system is a software which actually instructs everything to the processor, and then processor sends the signal to the rest of the peripheral devices in the system. So this is how a computer works. Okay, now the thing is, whenever we say platform, we are not only talking about the CPU, we are also talking about the operating system. So every combination of CPU and operating system makes a platform. And when we say Java is platform independent, we mean to say that if we create any program in Java, that certain program can run on any platform. Okay, now how it is possible, that I am going to explain you how it is possible, how Java is platform independent. So let's see that. We know in Java we used to create source code, and source code is available in .java extension, and then this source code is compiled to form a bytecode which is available in .class extension. So today in the practical session I will show you both of them, your .java and your .class. Okay, so let's get back to it. So whenever we create a program, suppose we created a program. Now I'm showing you three platforms. So this is platform number 1, this is platform number 2, and this is platform number 3. So all three of them are having different machines and different operating systems, different CPU and different operating system on it. Okay, now you created a Java program here. Now we know to develop a Java program, what do you need? You need a JDK. That means this certain platform is having a JDK. Now your Java development kit is having a JRE. So whenever you install a JDK, JRE is also installed. Now what is JDK? Java Development Kit, a kit that provides all the tools necessary for the development in Java. And what is JRE? JRE is Java Runtime Environment, an environment that is necessary to run Java programs in a system. So if you want to develop any Java program, you need a JDK. And if you want to run any Java program, you need a JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Luckily, whenever we install JDK, JRE also get installed to our system. Okay, so that means whenever we install JDK, we are also capable to run Java programs. Fine. Now JRE is having a small virtual machine, not a real machine. It's actually a software, but it is known as virtual machine because it behaves like a platform. So JRE is having a virtual machine, a small software which acts as a platform for all the Java programs. So whenever we compile a Java program available in source code or in .java extension, that program gets converted to bytecode, that is .class. And then that .class, so let me show you. So we created an XYZ.java and we provided it to the compiler available in the JDK, and that compiler converts it to XYZ.class. Is this okay? Now this is nothing but the bytecode. Now we know we are having two different platforms also, and we are we want to run Java programs in these two platforms. So what we need here? We only want to run, we don't want to develop. So we need a JRE. So this system will have a JRE and this system will have a JRE. And when JRE will be installed in the system, that certain JRE will understand the language of that certain machine. So when JRE will be installed in platform 2, it will understand language of this certain machine, and when it will be installed in platform 3, it will understand language of this machine. So when I created that XYZ.java and provided it to JDK, the compiler of JDK compiles it and converts it into bytecode which is an intermediate code. Now the thing is, any JVM, any Java virtual machine, which is the interpreter also you can say, any JVM can understand this bytecode. So what I mean to say, I provide this bytecode to this JVM or JVM of this platform or JVM of this platform. They will understand it and they will execute it on their own platform. So because of Java runtime environment or because of JVM, we are able to run Java programs on any platform. So I hope you understood how Java is platform independent. The next point is portable. Portable means it can be carried to any system, and of course it is possible to carry any Java program on any system, and the reason for that is Java is platform independent, and because Java is platform independent, it is portable. In Java terms, we also say it as VORA, WORA, write once, run anywhere. So you can write it once and run it anywhere. Okay, so these are the first three features of Java. Now the fourth feature which I am going to talk about is actually composed of plenty of sub features also. Now what is this feature? What is this feature? The feature name is object oriented, and we know that Java is object oriented. Now why and how Java is object oriented? So any language which actually supports objects, classes, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, if any language supports these concepts, then that language is object oriented programming language. And since Java supports them, Java provides us encapsulation, how we can wrap up data and methods inside a single unit known as class. So Java provides encapsulation feature. Java helps us to keep things abstracted. We know the class name to access it. We know the method name or signature of the method. So, and we can keep things public, right, or protected, sometimes to get inherited. That means we can keep things hidden from the user, or we can show things to the user. And whenever I am saying user here, I am talking about the programmer. So of course we can implement encapsulation, we can implement abstraction in Java. Java supports object and classes. Till now we have created most of the programs, and any programs created in Java is actually a class. And to implement it in BlueJ, if it is an API class, you have to create an object of it, you know that. So Java supports object classes, encapsulation, abstraction. Let's talk about polymorphism and inheritance. So in class 10th, even you have used that concept in 11th as well. You have overloaded, you have made more than one methods in a class with same name but different purpose. So that was nothing but method overloading. You have done that, and that was polymorphism. One more kind of polymorphism, that is dynamic polymorphism, or also known as late binding or dynamic binding. You are going to understand that in 12th class. So Java supports polymorphism, no doubt. And inheritance, that's also we are going to understand in 12th class, where we will actually inherit characteristics of a class inside another class. So Java supports object oriented characteristics, and hence Java is object oriented. So Java is simple, Java is platform independent, Java is portable, Java is object oriented. Next thing is Java is robust. Java is strict for its rules, and Java do not changes the rule frequently. So anything that is already decided is decided. It is not going to change, and it's same for all the platforms. I will tell you one small difference of Java with a language known as C. You might have heard the name C language. Actually in C language, if you are working on different platforms, suppose you are working on a CPU with 16-bit of processor, okay, a machine with 16-bit of processor, there your integer type will take 2 bytes in memory. But if you are working on a 32-bit, it will take 4 bytes in memory. But it is not the case with Java. In Java, if you are working with 16-bit or if you are working with 32-bit, it will take same amount of space. An example of robustness. Okay. Secure. The next important feature, Java is secure. Now, I am just telling you how Java is secure, because right now I explained that process. Do you know, I told you JRE is required. JRE is required by all Java programs so that it can run. Yes, I told you. So if I am running a Java program in a system in the Java runtime environment, that is in the platform of Java itself. So even in the case that program is a malware, that program is a malicious software, it's only going to affect that certain runtime environment. It's not going to affect the whole system. So Java is secure. And of course Java do not support concepts like pointers. Okay. Now next thing is multi-threading. Have you ever heard about multiprocessing? I guarantee you might have. So what is multi-threading? It is bit related to multiprocessing. We know our system is capable of performing more than one task at the same time, right? That is multiprocessing. Our operating systems are multiprocessing operating systems. Now what is multi-threading? If we are in a program and there are two different methods performing two different tasks, and if we want both of them to perform that simultaneously at the same time, then the only solution is multi-threading, and Java has the feature of multi-threading. Okay, so Java supports multi-threading. We can execute more than one task at the same time. For example, I'm just giving you an example. If you are running a GUI application or a CUI application and something is being displayed on the screen, and if you want some audio, some sound to run at the same time, then definitely multi-threading would be very helpful for you. Okay, so the next topic is dynamic. Now, how Java supports multi-threading? Actually, multi-threading is not part of our syllabus, so we are not going to create multiple threads, but the concept I want to tell you, so that's why I have written this feature. The second last feature is dynamic. Java is dynamic. Now, what do we mean by dynamic? Okay, this one I will show you practically, but let me tell you, it compiles the thing at the run. Suppose you are using a class, suppose you created a class in Java and you are using that class inside another class. In that case, suppose first class was A, second class was B, you are using class A into class B. Is this okay? Class A into class B. Now, all the features of class A will now be part of class B. Are you getting it? Suppose there are two classes, class A and class B, and you have used class A into class B. Suppose not inherited, you have created an object of class A into class B. Let's keep it that way. So because we have created an object of class A into class B, now class B has the feature, has the ability to access class A. Now I have made any change in class A and I compiled only in class B. Still class A will be compiled automatically. So it compiles the things at the run, even it links the thing at the run. It's not like languages like C. Suppose in C, if I am using a program inside another program, it will compile both the programs all the time. And I have to compile them individually. Now in Java it's not necessary. So Java is dynamic. The next feature of Java is distributed. In Java we can create distributed programs. Now what are distributed programs? Distributed programs are those programs which can run on multiple systems. Have you seen online examination? So there is only one proctor, there is only one person in the lab, which is online examination in a lab. Okay, so there is only one person in the lab who is the admin of the examination, which takes care of the examination, and each and every system monitor screen is having the interface of that software. Are you getting it? It's having the interface of that software. So we can create applications that can run on multiple systems at the same time, and those applications are distributed applications. So these were the features of Java that I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you about Java Virtual Machine, which we have discussed, and about Java bytecode. We have seen that also. Print and println method, you know the difference between them. I know you are already knowing. You are already knowing that println method prints a thing and then changes the cursor to the new line, whereas print method only prints the thing and the cursor will remain in the same line. But one difference that you might not be knowing, okay, or you might not have noticed, that I am telling you that thing, and that is the last thing in this theoretical part of today's video lecture. Now we will see the practical part on the laptop, where I will show you a few practical things that I want to tell you about today's class. But the difference between print and println that you might have not been noticed is we can keep a println method blank. That means we can call println method without passing anything to it. Okay, nothing, no need to pass anything, not even integer, string or anything. You can simply call println method and keep the parenthesis blank. It will work. But you cannot keep print method. You cannot call a print method without passing anything. Okay. So this is one more difference between print and println, and that you will understand in detail when you will study about method overloading once again in class 12th. So let's move on to the practical part of it, and let's get to the system. So hello students, this is the practical part of our video lecture 15,
And in our video lecture we have actually discussed about various features of Java, in which we have discussed about platform independency, portability, security, and there we have discussed about bytecode and how Java compiles and creates bytecode which is later on interpreted. So today in this practical part I am going to show you that bytecode of the source code and how to compile and interpret it. Well, you are knowing how to compile and interpret it, but I am also showing you what happens when we compile and when we interpret it. In this practical part, we are also going to see that how Java is actually capable of having dynamicism, or in other words you can say how Java is dynamic. So these two things we are going to understand in this small practical. So from now onwards in our all video lecture, wheresoever any programming aspect would be there, we are going to show you that practical here. So this is a project which I have created. You can see project name is LFS12. Okay, and you can see where that project is by clicking on project and go to open recent, and there you can see the address. Okay, address of this LFS12. Now what we need to do, we have to first open this project. If the project is already there, then you have to go to that certain place where that project is existing. For example, this project is in C drive, users folder, administrator folder. So I have actually opened the C drive users and administrator. You can see that. Okay, we are in the C drive users administrator. I'm showing you the path as well. Okay, and here this is the LFS12. So I am going to open it, and inside this as LFS12 you will see these two files. The first file is your BlueJ project file. So whenever you create any project, this file is created over there, and the second one is the readme file. So if I am going to open them, suppose I am going to open the readme file, because it's a text document, it will be open in a text editor. And here you can see, here you can mention your project title, purpose, version, and various other things about the project, which can be later on used when you are going to create a jar file for the project. And if you will open this package, it's a BlueJ project file. So when you will double click on it, it will do nothing but it will open this project. Fine. Now within the project I am not having any class, I am not having any program. So what I am going to do, first of all I am going to create a small sample program in it. So what it will do in this program, okay, let's make it an application program, and let's print some value, okay, or something in this program. So okay, fine. So okay, I'm not going to create anything, let it be, let's whatsoever given by the BlueJ, let it be. So I'm not going to change it. Okay. Oh, fine. So I'm just removing the comments so that you can clearly see what is there in this class. Okay, fine. So I have saved it. I'm not compiling it. Let's go to the project folder. You can see this sample.java over there, right? This is our class file. This is the class which we have created over there, and this is our source code. And you can see the type of the file. It is a Java file. Fine. Now let's get back to the BlueJ interface and let's compile it. So I'm right clicking on it, and you can see this compile option. I'm clicking on the compile. Right click, compile. So it is compiled. Now let's get back to the folder one more time, and now you can see there are two more files over here. The first one is, sorry, the last one is your Java file which was already created. When I compiled it, this is the file, this is the class file which was created by our Java compiler. This class file is nothing but the bytecode. So whenever we compile our source code, this bytecode is generated. Now I can pass this bytecode, I can provide this bytecode to any of the platform, to any of the JVM, and that JVM will understand the coding given in this class file. Okay. So I even don't need to provide the source code, only class file or the bytecode is essential to run the program. Of course you need a JVM also. Now the second thing that I wanted to show you is dynamic property. I'm creating one more program, sample 2. Okay, and what I'm going to do in this program, I'm going to create an object of sample 1. So this is sample 2 class. Okay, and here I will make it a main. So within the main method, because it's a main method, or the class is having the main method. This class is nothing but the application program. So within this class I will create an object of sample1. So you can see sample1, sample, or the sample only. Sample obj is equals to new sample. Okay, it was not sample1, it was sample only. So I saved it, and you will see it will show you an arrow. That arrow indicates that this class is actually using this class. Fine. If I will compile it, if I will compile it, there will be no error, no issues. Now suppose I make any change here, any change in this class. Let's suppose int x comma int y, and I have not compiled, I have only saved it. So you can see it's not compiled, and because this class is not compiled, I haven't make any change in this class, but because this class is not compiled, it has to be compiled again. And when I will compile sample2, it will not only compile sample2, it will also compile sample. So this is, you can see, a characteristics, dynamic characteristics. So if a class is used, if a class is used inside any other class as an object, okay, and in case in future if I make any change in the class, it will dynamically affect it at those at all those places where I have created an object of it. So this is a dynamic property of Java. So we have seen how Java attains platform independence and the bytecode necessary for it, and we have seen how Java attains dynamic property. One last thing that I want to show you in this program is the difference between print and println, and I am going to talk about the only unique difference which I told you today. Like, we can keep the println blank, that's possible, but we cannot keep print method blank. So that I am trying to show you here with two calling, first calling with to the println, second calling to the print, and I am keeping both of them as blank, and when I will compile it, you can see it's showing me an error over here. Okay, you can see this is the error. Even when you click on the error, when you will click on the error, you will come to know about it. Now what is the mistake? The mistake is we cannot keep print method blank. If you will pass anything to it, the error will be gone. But we can keep a println method blank. Okay, so this is one of the difference, and one of the difference which we have not noticed yet. One more thing that I want to talk to you today is how to run the Java program in JDK environment. Okay, because we are taking help of BlueJ, most of the things is already dealt by the IDE itself. But what if you want to run the same Java program in the JDK environment? So in your practical exam also, nobody will bound you to use BlueJ. Okay, they might even ask you to use JDK intentionally. So you should know how to run in the JDK environment, and to do that, what is required, what do you how you can approach to it. So let me tell you. First thing, you should have a JDK in your system to do that. So wheresoever JDK will be installed, because I am working in Windows 7, so I am having a Java folder. You can see I am having a Java folder, it's there, and this Java folder is actually available in the program files folder of my C drive. So wheresoever you have installed your Java, go to that place. In my system, I have installed two versions of JDK. First of all, I was having this version, which was JDK 1.8, and then I installed 1.6 because of some reason I needed both the JDK in my system. And when I installed these JDK, see, these JRE were also became part of the system itself. So as soon as JDK is installed, JRE is also installed. If you go inside the JDK, any of the JDK folder, you will have a bin folder. Now what is the use of this bin folder? Let me show you. Now the bin folder is having two important files which we are going to use. The first file is Java C file. This is our Java compiler. The second file is Java file, which is our Java interpreter. So we take help of this Java compiler and Java interpreter file. Both of them, Java C and Java, both of them are applications. You can see their type is given as application. So we will take help of these applications, and we will compile our program and run, that is, interpret our program. These applications will help us. So how we are going to do that? How we are going to create Java programs, and how we are going to compile it without BlueJ. So first of all, you should know where your Java compiler and interpreter is. So I shown you inside your Java JDK folder, you are having your Java compiler and Java interpreter. Second thing, you have to set the path of this folder, this bin folder path, you have to set that. Now where you are going to set this path? Okay, first of all you can set this path on the command prompt. Okay, and if you are going to set this path on the command prompt, then you can compile and execute your Java program wheresoever you have saved it. But I would suggest you, instead of setting the path on the command prompt, you should set it as environment variable, especially when you are working on your personal computer. When you are working on your personal computer, you are generally the administrator of the system, and in that case you should save it as the environment variable. I will show you how to do that. And once it is saved as environment variable, then onwards you can create your Java program, you can save it anywhere in your system, and you can compile and run it. Okay, if you are setting it on the command prompt, okay, it will work, but once you close the command prompt, then you will not be able to compile Java programs again. That means every time you will open the command prompt again, you have to set the path. And the third and the most easiest way to do that is save your Java program inside the bin folder itself. This bin folder which I have shown you, where this Java C and Java applications are there, save your program here itself, and then you can compile and run it, it will work. So this idea, the third idea, can be used in all the systems where you are not the administrator. Okay, now let me tell you how to set the path of the environment variable, because I have already said that. First of all, copy this path. Okay, when you will click on the address bar, this will be selected, right click and copy. Now go to your my computer properties. If you are working on Windows 8 and Windows 10, this will be this PC. Okay, go to the properties section, and in the properties there will be an option of advanced system setting. Now go to advanced system setting, and inside that advanced system setting, a dialog box will appear, right? You can see that, and in that dialog box there will be an option, a button, environment variables. So click on environment variables. Now here, this is the place where you will set the path. Now there are two places where you can set the path. This is the first place. Now here the path will be set for the current user. The current user is administrator, so path will be set for the administrator. And here the path is set for the whole system. That means for all the users of the system. So I am going to set here for all the users. So I will come here and I will select P, so that the variable starting with P will be selected, and it is having a value. Now make sure you don't delete it, otherwise you have to set all those paths again, and maybe you are not knowing how many paths are there. So don't click on the delete, don't click on new, just click on edit. And after clicking on edit, you will have these two options. First one is variable name, which is path right now. Second one is variable value, and you can see I have already copied the value. You can see that this was the value, no, of the bin. I have already pasted it. Otherwise, if you are coming here for the first time, okay, and this address would not be there, let's suppose it would be like this. So what you need to do, you have to put a semicolon at the end, okay, so that this semicolon will indicate that the statement is terminated, and now I'm writing the new statement, and paste the path which you have copied. Okay, if you haven't copied, okay, I think I haven't, just right click, copy, get back there, and here come here and paste. Okay, you can see that I pasted it. Okay, okay, and I think one more time. And once this is set, you can open your command prompt. How to open that? Press Window R, type CMD, okay, and you can type Java C and enter. If it will show an error, that means path is not set. But if it will show a tabular format, plenty of commands over there, that means path is already set. So you can see a table is there, that means path is set. Now I can compile my Java programs and I can execute it as well. Okay. So this was the thing that I wanted to tell you, that how to set the path. Now the last thing, a Java program. I'm going to create a Java program on normal text editor, for example Notepad. So I opened a Notepad, okay, and I'm creating a very small Java program. Let it name be small also, and I'm making it as application application program, and I'm just printing a text over there. Okay, with help of two println method. Okay, now I have to save it. So where I have to save it? I can save it anywhere, wheresoever I want. I can save it. So let's save it on the desktop itself. Okay, and I'm giving it a name. What was the name? Small. So I'm giving it a name, small.java. Now, small hint also I want to tell you, a tip. Whenever you are saving your file, your Java file through any text editor, write the name inside double inverted commas. Okay. Now you will ask why? Because sometimes when you are saving it, though you are giving .java as extension, it will still save it as .txt. So for the safety purpose, whatsoever name you are providing there, keep it in double inverted commas and click on save. Now this file is saved. Now let's go to the desktop. Well, I will not tell you, I will not tell you how to command on it because that is not part of our syllabus. Uh, what was the program name? Small. Now I am telling you how to compile. That is part of our syllabus. So we know at the desktop I have saved it. So I will write compiler name, that is Java C, then space, and then the name of the program, that is small.java. If it is having any error, that error will be shown here. Otherwise, okay, it's fine. So that was the last thing I wanted to show. Okay, that is the last thing that I wanted to show you, how to compile. I also want to show you how to interpret it, but after that, our today's video lecture will be over. So let me tell you how to execute, how to interpret. Type in Java the interpreter name and program name without any extension and enter. And it will show you the output. Thank you and have a nice day. So that's the end of today's lecture as well. So I am Amit Kumar signing off on the behalf of Little Flower School Rapti Nagar. So students, hope to meet you in the next video lecture. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.